Good morning. Good morning. We're here. We're live. It's good to be with you today again, my wonderful people. I bring you greetings once again from myself and my sister Munachim Saga, who is not here today again. But I honestly believe by the next week she should be here. So thank you so much for standing with us. Thank you for subscribing. Can see you in TikTok. People in TikTok will see how you do your screenshots and post, screenshot our PowerPoint slides, bits and bits. So that is good. Thank you. TikTok is doing very well. Our videos and everything going, and people are giving us feedback. We appreciate you. Thank you so much. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for following. Thank you for spreading this information and then understanding the information and teaching others. We are doing this together. Like we always say, this is a teamwork. We are here because you're there. So those in middle belt, the grassroots team, always meeting with them, and they're working, and other parts too. Thank you so much. We'll start our video. My name is Ekwi, of course. Ekwi Ekutos Namadi Begi Ekutos Nam. So we'll play the first video. Those that are new to our show, this show is a one-stop platform channel for all your self-determination and freedom information. On this platform, we bring videos. We go around, bring the things that other people are saying. So we break our live show into two segments. The first segment is to watch different videos with our people, make commentaries as we're watching them. And then the next segment is our PowerPoint. We bring that up to use it to summarize all the information we gather from the videos and then put our people's mind together, connect all the dots and then point them to the direction we are going. So that's what it is. So please, if you're just coming, I want to pull up the first video. This first video, we have always told us the pulpits, these colonial masters hijacked the pulpits, hijacked religion, and used it as a major tool to brainwash Africans and colonize them. The Christianity they brought to you is adulterated. Yes, we say it. They mixed up some things in it. The purpose is to brainwash you, make you docile, so they can do what they want to do. The same thing with the Islam they brought. That's why you can see that people that practice Islam in Saudi Arabia, in Dubai, where you go, they are progressing, they're developing, but the northern part of Nigeria is moving backwards because it is an adulterated religion, colonized religion, Arabized Islam, whitewashed Christianity. The evidence is there, and other people are saying it. The evidence is also there if you go and research, and if you can stop and think and look at what is happening to you. So it is not a personal fight, it's a system fight. If you understand what we're doing here, you will begin to decolonize your mind, because anybody that will colonize or enslave you, we start from your mind, and we will prove it in this show. So the first video I want to pull, let me pull it up, because we watch and then share. I'll also join us to share. So this video, it's a gentleman saying that they colonized our minds from the pulpit. And he's going to start from the pulpit to decolonize our mind. And he's going to still use the pulpits. That's what we expected our pastors to do. We said that they are supposed to go into that, but African Christians are supposed to go into that Bible, read it very well, and begin to teach our people what will make them, that what will liberate them from the yoke of colonialism. Not saying, no, we don't care. We are preaching Christ. That is not a good attitude. So we want to pull and show them example, what should be done, what they should be doing as we continue this warfare. So let me pull it up. Please continue to share for us so that the message will go out to our people. Pay attention, please. Listen, please.
There is a person called Pope Nicholas V. Pope Nicholas V, a Roman Catholic Church Pope in the 14th century, is the one who said, I'm talking about a Pope, not an Ashara, a Pope who said, not even a cardinal, but a Pope. You know what he said? He gave permission that black people can be enslaved, made to be slaves. And the justification he gave was that black people are at the level of animals. They do not have a soul. So he gave authorization for the enslavement, exploitation, lynching, raping, and destruction of black people. That's when it started by Pope Nicholas V. Where did it come from? It came from a church. The strongest church in the world at that time being the Roman Catholic Church. A white pope said, you are an animal. It's okay for you to be enslaved. And the Portuguese are the first people that took this. And they went to the coastal areas of Africa and they took Africans as slaves. They took them to Brazil, they took them to America, they took them to England, and they took them to a lot of European countries. I'm talking about your ancestors. It started in the church. Secondly, what I want to bring to your attention, is that King Leopold II. Now, you can go and Google the letter of King Leopold II. King Leopold II sent missionaries. Missionaries to the DRC, the Democratic Republic of Congo, as it is known today. What were they going to do there? They were going to inflict damage in the minds of people. And what he said was that don't teach these people about God, they already know God. Don't teach these people about right and wrong, they already know that right, the difference between right and wrong. And just said, give them the Bible in such a way that they take the Bible so seriously that they forget about themselves. And I'm glad you're going to read that letter. You're going to Google it. Letter by King Leopold II. And he said, make these black people, tell them, Hori, it is difficult for a rich man to go to heaven. It is like a camel going through a needle's eye. And that's what you must indoctrinate them with. Indoctrinate them. Tell them it is okay or they can struggle and suffer here on earth. Tell them they must not mind to struggle and suffer here on earth. Because in heaven, they will walk on the streets of gold. Tell them that the gold which is here on earth is worthless. Let them look upon the gold they will inherit in heaven. By missionaries. The NG Kerk. The NG Kerk in South Africa was instrumental in coming up with the policies of apartheid. It came from the church. And why am I saying this? I'm saying this to open your mind for the damage that is in the mind of the black person was crafted, it was designed from the church pulpit. And that is why I also use the church.
Okay. You see what he said? You heard it. When people say, my ear is not bigger than your own ear, you used your ear to hear it. We don't want you to be sentimental. We want you to be logical. We want you to think as we watch. This young man is doing a good thing. He's using the same pulpit to educate our people, which is what we have begged our pastors, our priests, our imams. That place where you gather our people, they used you to brainwash our people. Can you now do the noble thing by re-educating our people? Of course, we appreciate what Abel Damina is doing, trying to re-educate the people. But it's not enough. What Abel is doing is not enough because he's only still centering on heaven. He's still not looking at the bigger picture. He's still not understanding what we call colonialism and the neo-colonial project in Africa. You cannot preach about the liberation of people without going there, because that's where it started. Twisting of scriptures, twisting of religion, hijacking religion to use it to enslave the people of Africa so that they will be colonized and you steal all the assets. So you cannot tell me that it will not matter to you as a pastor, as a bishop, as a pope, as whatever you are, except you're telling us you're Antichrist yourself. So we have seen that. We want to pull up the next video. Please continue to share, like, and subscribe. This next video is a former, it says 1989 CIA whistleblower. He's talking about how CIA destabilized regions, nations, countries, how they use their propaganda campaign to bring down nations. When you listen to that, you know that man is saying the truth. Those of you in Southeast, in Igbo land, begin to ask yourself, what is going on there? Are you sure it's not associated with the gas that they say is now the second in the world? What is going on in Southeast, in Igbo land? There's a video Njenje played of somebody that they kidnapped. But we're saying we can't continue to lament without presenting solution to our people. Nina's strategy is the solution to end all these woes that our people are going through. If you are on media, if you're on social media, you're a social media creator, but you are not playing a role to expose our people to Nina's project, you are doing your people a disservice. And I'm telling you, eventually, you will regret what you're doing today for not getting this message across to our people as fast as possible. You will regret it. So let's play this video and let's see what this man, this whistleblower, is trying to tell us. Please continue to share, like, and subscribe because it's important. It's important. Let me pull it up. Let me pull it up. Please pay attention. It's very, very important that you pay attention so that when you talk, you will talk like somebody that is well informed.
We've set out to overthrow functioning constitutional democracies in over 20 countries. We manipulated elections in dozens of countries. We created standing armies and directed them to fight. We went after to organize ethnic minorities to encourage them to revolt. The first thing we did in Nicaragua was to go to the Mosquito Indians, who had never gotten along with the other people in Nicaragua very well, and give them more money than they had seen in the entirety of history, and arms and training and rationales and sanctuaries in Honduras, and sent them into Nicaragua to attack, kill, fight, rape, burn, pillage. And this is an insidious thing. Every society is torn with racial conflicts and conflicts with minorities. Think how violent our nation is. Think what if there were a superpower so big that we didn't dare even flap back or strike back at them, that were coming to our minorities with huge sums of money and arms and training people from our minority groups and sending them into the country to do open acts of violence. How we would rise up and the bloodbath that would ensue. And this has been a technique the CIA has used in Nicaragua, in Thailand, in Vietnam, in Laos, in the Congo, in Iran, Iraq with the Kurds, in different parts of the world. We created, trained, and funded death squads like the Treasury Police in El Salvador that are responsible for killing as many as 70,000 people, according to the count of the Catholic Church. And we've assassinated world leaders, including the United States president in 1963. And I'll get to that in more detail in just a moment. Getting back to the subject of democracy, since that's something that Bush and everyone is talking about right now, I remind you of Chile. In 1973, the CIA organized the overthrow of Salvador Allende, the democratically elected president of Chile. And he was killed in the process, and we killed General Schneider, who was the pro-US defender of the Constitution there, in order to put the CIA's representative Pinochet in power. And Henry Kissinger's, when he was grilled by the Congress over this program, his rationale was, yes, the issues are much too important for the Chilean voters to be left to decide for themselves. Now, there was a long CI destabilization and propaganda campaign against China. We were parachuting teams from Quemoy, Matsu, Tibet, Burma, Thailand to destabilize China with the propaganda campaign, the propaganda aimed at the United States as well as China and other parts of the world, until eventually we talked ourselves into the Korean War, in which 1 million people were, where we fought China in Korea and 1 million people were killed. There was a long CI destabilization and propaganda campaign against Vietnam until we talked ourselves into going into Vietnam to fight, and 2 million people were killed. Again, read for yourselves. Read Bill Blum's book, The CIA, A Forgotten History. Read Portrait of a Cold Warrior by Joseph Burkholder Smith, who was a CIA case officer in Southeast Asia. Read Fire in the Lake by Frances Fitzgerald, the daughter of Desmond Fitzgerald, the famous CIA chief of operations of Southeast Asia. Read Deadly Deceits by Ralph McGehee, another case officer who served in Southeast Asia. Read Decent Interval by Frank Snepp, who covered the period of time in Vietnam, 73, 75. He and I were colleagues there at that time. Or if you will, read my own book, In Search of Enemies by Norton, which remains the only insider's detailed account of the inner functionings of a covert action. Or read Washington's War on Nicaragua by Holly Sklar, not written by an insider, but a remarkable detail on the Nicaraguan operation, great detail of how that operation has been run. Trying to come to grips with these CIA activities and these broad numbers, trying to figure out how many people have been killed. You can count it up different ways. You can never be sure how many people are killed in the jungles of Laos or the hills of Nicaragua, but adding them up as best we can, we come up with a figure of 6 million people killed, minimum figure. It has to be more than that. 1 million in the Korean War, 2 million in the Vietnam War, 800,000 in Indonesia, a couple of million in Cambodia, 20,000 in Angola, the operation I was part of, 22,000 in Nicaragua, again, the figure the New York Times cites. You're dealing with large numbers of people who died who would not have died if our tax dollars had not been spent by the CIA to exacerbate situations and destabilize and set people to fighting. So you began to analyze these figures to figure out who are these 6 million people we've killed. And again, that's a minimum figure. The conservatives tell us it's a dangerous world. Our enemies have to die so we can be safe and secure. Some of them say, I'm sorry about that, but that's the way the world is. We have to accept this reality. So you begin to study these things and rip through them and analyze them and break them apart, and you find some shocking common denominators come out to you. Namely, for example, since 1954, we do not parachute teams into the Soviet Union to destabilize the country in a brutal way. Coincidentally, 1954 was the first year the Soviets developed their actual capability of actually dropping atomic weapons on the United States. For other reasons, we don't do these things in England, France, Sweden, Norway, Belgium, Switzerland, etc. These things are all done in countries of the third world where the governments don't have the power to force the United States to stop destabilizing the country and brutalizing their people. These 6 million people killed are people of the Mitumba Mountains of the Congo and the jungles of Southeast Asia and the hills of northern Nicaragua. Conspicuously, they're people who don't have ICBMs or armies or navies. They don't have any capability of doing physical hurt to the United States. The 22,000 killed in Nicaragua, for example, they're conspicuously not Russians. They're not Cuban soldiers or advisors. They're not even percentage-wise mostly Sandinistas. They're mostly rag-poor peasants, including a high percentage of women and children. Communists? I'm sorry, they're mostly Roman Catholics. Enemies of the United States? I can't give you that one either, because we have all these witnesses who've gone down to live in their villages with them, and they invariably come back to testify that the Nicaraguans are the warmest people on the face of the earth, and they love people from the United States, and they simply cannot understand why we would want, our leaders would want to rationalize spending $1 billion on a contraforce to go into their villages, to kill them and mutilate them while their families are forced to watch.
My people, you heard it. If you're seeing it and you didn't hear very well, please, at the end of the show, go back again, play and listen, and take notes. Because it's the notes you're taking and writing down that you use to educate your neighbors, your brothers, your sisters, people in the church, people in your alumni groups, everywhere. You can hear this man say, read, read, read. It's all about information. If you don't have information, you don't know who is your enemy, you don't know the strategy your enemy is using, you won't know how to combat the war. You'll be doing the wrong things that will destroy your people. This is what we want our people. Nnamdi Kanu, Biafra people, IPOB people. We say, if you go that route you're going, he told us he was going to shed the blood of Ndibu. Then we told him, if you go that route, you will open door to our enemies, and they will come in and not achieve what they wanted to achieve. But you people did not listen. We won for 4 years. We warned you since 2019, when Nnamdi Kanu told us what he was about to do in the US. We opened our mouth. We came to warn you, but you did not listen. Today you're crying. They are kidnapping us. They are doing this. You opened the door. Listen to what this man said. They are standing at your door, trying to come in because you have resources in your land. If you open the door, they will help you. That's why we told our people that guns weapons. Ninas told our people in the strategy, guns and weapons is not what you're supposed to use. You can't use it because that's where your enemy, that's the domain of your enemy. Thank you, my brother Uchen Okeke. That's the domain of your enemy. If you play into the hands of your enemy, bam, they will come in. They were waiting for you already. That we have a higher strategy, a better strategy that we can use to get them down. If you listen. Today is not too late. We know that people have died. People are still dying, lamenting, and all the things going on. But if you will hear today, Ndibo, if you will hear today and turn around, you will stop dying. But if you say you don't want to turn around, okay, I will be watching you. As Adandibo, I will be watching you. When you're tired of being picked up like rats, when you're tired of being butchered like animals, you will turn around and do what Ninas told you to do for 25 years. I'll pull up another video. Africa is bleeding for the world. Yes, that's the unfortunate situation that we found ourselves. Why? Because we have resources. We have what the world needs. But the world does not want to come and negotiate with us so that we can have a fair business deal. They want to destroy us, kill us, and take it free of charge. That's the unfortunate reality. But we can stop it today. Let's watch. The good thing is that their children, some of their children, are beginning to speak. Thank God for social media. They're beginning to tell their people because they lie to them also. The way they're lying to and manipulating the Africans, the everyday Americans don't know what their systems are doing all over the world. They are being deceived also. So thank God we now have some of their people investigating, coming and doing what you call whistleblowing and saying, no, this has to stop. This is not okay. So this is in Congo, what is happening, how they get the cobalt mine. This goes for everything that are taken from Africa. So please pay attention and watch. Thank you. And continue.
Looking at a video now, this is so crazy to see.
This is the bottom of the supply chain of your iPhone, of your Tesla, of your Samsung. I mean, I'm just naming those companies.
Right.
It's all of them, right? All of them. And here's what you need to know, Joe, about this video. This is an industrial cobalt mine where there's not supposed to be one artisanal miner. Now, that's the term used for people who are just digging by hand as opposed to tractors and excavators. There's not supposed to be one here. That's what the story is told at the top of the chain. There's more than 15,000 human beings crammed into that pit, digging by hand. And if you have sound, you hear the mallets, you hear the shouting, you hear the grunts. And that's the truth that needs to get out there. That's the truth people need to understand, because this is a story that goes back generations. There's these fictions told at the top of the chain about what conditions are like at the bottom. And truth seekers have to go find that truth and enlighten civilization so that people get agitated about it and want to do something about it. So there's no clean cobalt. Let's just make that totally abundantly clear.
Yep. No clean cobalt. The same thing, no clean anything they're taking. Our people have to bleed for them to take whatever they're taking. If you're hearing out, no matter where you are in this world, Africa is bleeding for you to have that life you're living. African children are bleeding, dying, for you to have that life that you're living. We can change the situation. We can. We thank those that are sending these videos to us because, like we said, this is a teamwork. You out there, you're searching out these videos, forwarding them to us. We appreciate you because information is the key. You need to understand the diagnosis. You need to understand what is happening to you. Then you understand the treatment plan. Then you will now know the role you need to play so that you don't do things that are counterproductive. We don't want you running around in ignorance. on social media, abusing whoever that tells you the truth because you just don't know. We want to team up. That's the sense of alliance. When you are informed, you will team up with the rest of the people that want development, that want to end colonialism, that want to end injustice. You will team up with the rest of the people, and then you will do something that makes sense. Of course, in our case in Nigeria, solution is on the table. And we have told indigenous peoples, if you want, let it be 300 different indigenous peoples. Do not listen to anybody that tells you that you are just a tribe. Most of you in Europe are a country of their own. So we don't see any reason why you will go to Europe, a people that become a nation. You will not come to Nigeria or Africa and call them tribes, tribesmen, rather than citizens, because you want to reduce them so that you can steal their resources. The people from Yoruba land, southwest block of Ninas, they are organizing themselves. You can't get out of this thing without being organized. This project, Nina's project, is not what you do anyhow. You have to be organized. Listen to instruction and follow it line by line. So we'll give you updates in this interview by Dr. Aki Fabunda. He's talking, he would break down the problem, how the North is holding the South to ransom. And then what they are doing in their own place. Because that's what we said. You cannot, as an Igbo person, go to Yoruba land to go and start freeing them. No, it's called self-determination. You cannot, as an Igbo man, go to Ijaw land. You say you want to go and free them. You want to put them inside Biafra. No, that is called land grabbing. Every indigenous people, all the indigenous peoples, distinct indigenous people in their distinct land with boundaries, they will administer this template to themselves. They will organize themselves and follow the instruction, working in alliance with their neighbors, so that there will not be crisis, so that nobody will blame another person and say, oh, you're coming to my land, oh, you're taking my thing, oh, is it because I have oil, or is it because I have gas, is it because, no, because everybody is blessed. All of us in that space called Nigeria, there is no land that does not have what the people can live with and survive on. Our only problem is colonialism and the neo-colonial project. That is why we have to work hand in hand to upturn the table. So we will listen to see how the Yoruba people are taking charge of their own space. All of you have to do the same. And then you'll be guided according to Nina's templates. What to do, what not to do, how you should not do social things so that you're not infringing on the right of your neighbor. There is no need for battle here. This whole process does not need us fighting one another, attacking one another. Nope. It's so easy and simple if people will just understand the concept. It's important to understand the concept. You cannot plagiarize the work. If people did work for 25 years, you cannot jump up from one forest and say, yes, constitution is the problem, I want to fix it. You are not allowed to do that. You are not allowed to do that. Enough of plagiarism. Go to the people that have worked on this thing for 25 years and learn. Humble yourselves to learn. I don't care if you have PhD. I don't care if you're a doctor. I don't care if you're an architect. I don't care if you're a lawyer. If you did not know the problem, since 25 years, you didn't know how to solve it, you didn't understand what it was. It is not now you will jump out from the forest and say, I want to lead. This problem is not about who is leading. It's about all of us working together in alliance so that you don't step on my toes and I don't step on your toes. It's as simple as this. And no gun is required. Why would they require gun? When Yoruba is on Yoruba land, Igbo is on Igbo land, Ijaw is on Ijaw land, Urobo is on Urobo land. Why would we need, who am I using the gun for? The only people that need to get out are the intruders, the invaders. We'll pull up this video for you so that you will understand. Let's listen to our brother and father in this interview. Thank you. It's long, please, so please pay attention. Sorry, it's long, but it's in segments, so you listen, please. Pay attention. Just be calm. Some of you watch and listen to BBC. Listen, please.
Thanks for staying with us. You're welcome back to the morning show here on Arise News. Well, our next guest is Dr. Akin Fakpunda, who is the Secretary, Eminent Elders Forum. In the midst of the recent national bedlam over President Tinubu's tax reform proposals, Dr. Fakpunda described the entire thing as creeping regionalization that is being half-heartedly implemented. What exactly did he mean? He joins us now from Arise Abuja studios for a broader conversation around issues of governance in Nigeria. Good morning, Dr. Fakpunda. Good to have you join us on the morning show. And happy New Year to you, sir.
Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Thank you very much. Good morning to viewers.
Good morning.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. All right, let's come to your thoughts around what the government of the day, of course, headed by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, is doing. You've expressed some strong views about the tax reform bills and about what you called, half-hearted attempt at regionalization. I'd like you to explain in detail what you meant, given the fact that if we zero down to the tax reform bills, the four of them themselves, you see that Afenifere did endorse it, even though there was a backlash from the North, being almost outrightly against it. But then what is the position of the Elders Forum that you represent and your own personal position, given that the gentleman who is behind all this, our president, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, is a Yoruba man like your good self? What are your thoughts about his reforms, particularly the tax reform bills?
Paying your bills on time raises your credit score, right?
Okay.
Wrong. In
to
fact,
draw
this is
your
one of the
answer.
3 major credit score
Let's
lies
see.
you are being told by the
There are so many issues on this matter. The first foundation to lay is that Nigeria is not a united country, despite all the pretenses.
Yes.
We are North South since 1914. It has not changed.
Yes.
The North, at the flip of a switch, they are able to shout Northern interest. The Southerners are laid back, hoping that, we are civilized. We don't want to talk about tribalism. Tribalism is at play. We are pretentious about this matter.
Okay.
Look, the North has taken us for a ride for too long. They foisted federal character on Nigeria over 40 years. They foisted quota system over Nigeria over 40 years. Have they benefited from it? Only the tiny clique in the North is holding the whole country to ransom. It's enough time for Nigeria to wake up. We are not together, North plus South. Now they are talking the elite, the few elite in the North. Like if feeding bottle is going to be removed from their mouth. That's what they are doing. They are shouting. They are forming a group now. Lead of Northern Democrats. The governor of Bauchi was talking. They won't be able to pay salaries again. They won't be able to do that. Look, the North has damaged Nigeria fundamentally with this attitude.
Okay.
Who are the Nigerians who are now Japan now? They are Southerners. The South invested in education massively in the 50s and the 60s. The products now are being driven out of Nigeria. Can you find the Fulani man in London or in New York?
Nope.
Practicing medicine, practicing engineering. It's Yoruba, the Igbo, Southerner that are marginalized.
Yes.
It's time to call the bluff of the North.
Okay.
Not because we even support what Tinubu is doing, but we have to converse about Nigeria. Nigeria is not, we are pretentious. Let's go to the brass tacks. That's why we are calling for regionalization. The North is separate from the South. That's just the truth. That's just the truth, unless we are deceiving ourselves. There are many issues about the tax reform. Look, the president is not focusing in the right direction. Just one item alone, inheritance tax. The North has a different perspective on Sharia. The Southwest have different customs. The East have different approach. By trying to do a unitary tax system, when we are all having a different flavor of life,
Exactly.
is that not a voyage to nowhere?
Of course.
On that account alone, I will not really agree with what President Tinubu is trying to do. In all honesty, President Tinubu is focused on this tax matter. That is going to be the mantra of his administration. Let's assume that even the tax bill is passed in the next 3, 4, 5 months. Okay, what next?
Exactly.
What next? Mr. President is taking his reputation, his political acumen on the tax bill. But there are many issues that is about to have faced that is not talking about. Civil service is blighted. Federal civil service in Abuja. We don't have a civil service.
No.
Civil servants are just looking to find a means to survive. They are not operating organically with the government. They are not. On a report, President said he would do it within 6 weeks, 12 weeks rather. They have done nothing about it. If we don't reform this public service and you keep giving some money to FRA to collect tax so you can spend, and then there are many issues that I can table in this in this show today. In 2023, the president announced a 500 billion naira agri project. What has happened to it? He didn't implement it. Now we have livestock ministry. I know now they are looking for offices in Abuja. When are we going to get the first cows from the livestock ministry?
Or where?
So overall, the focus on tax bill is totally not what Nigeria is looking at now. There are more serious issues, fundamental reform.
Okay.
Tax bill is not the reform that we want. The country has to be reorganized and let all of us live separately, but as good neighbors.
Exactly.
As good neighbors. We are different. It's just a fact. We can gloss over it from here to eternity. Let me just stop there right now.
Okay, and that's a good place to start. I agree with you. There's so many things that the president has to fix to make sure that Nigeria is right again. But before we move on to those things, I still want to ask you one more question on this Nigeria's tax system that has been a subject of debate for decades. With this President Tinubu's recent proposals to overhaul it significantly, tax reforms are never easy, especially in a diverse and complex country like Nigeria. Many critics fear that the proposed changes might favor certain regions or economic classes over others. Now, I'm wondering if there's any way you think these reforms can be structured to dispel these fears, to ensure inclusivity and demonstrate tangible benefits for all Nigerians. I ask this because the backlash, like you rightfully said, against these reforms, especially from some northern groups, highlights the deep-seated regional sensitivities that we have. From your perspective, is there anything that this government can do to balance the need for a tax modernization with the concerns of these regions while fostering unity and trust across the country?
The end of your statement is just the problem.
Yes.
We cannot be united when we are not equally yoked. We are equally yoked.
Unequally yoked.
We cannot be united at all. But let everybody just live according to his own worldview. Then the temperature will come down.
Exactly.
But trying to stay in Abuja and put a package together for the whole country, from the northwest to the southeast, from the northeast to the southwest.
Imagine.
It's not going to work.
Never.
Okay, the president might use all his authority, all the presidential powers to get it through. And then what?
And then what?
And then what?
Imagine.
What are the two elements in the tax reform? You are conceding no tax to the lowest people, 130 million Nigerians who are destitute. Then you want to tax the big companies. The big companies are folding up.
Of course.
They are living in Nigeria.
Certainly.
They cannot afford diesel to run generators.
Of course.
They are even the one they manufactured.
Huh.
No sales. There is poor demand.
Exactly.
So who will pay the tax?
Oh.
Who will pay the tax?
More.
Is it run-down companies that will pay the tax? Anybody earning below 70,000, no tax. Okay. So where is the money coming from? And when the money comes, to be spent on what?
Okay.
To spend on deficit. To be spent on paying back loans that we have taken, that we have exhausted, that we have stolen.
What a misnomer.
Is that it? What are you going to use tax for? It's not tax that we, okay, let him get it through, fine. Let him get it through. But is that the end of the tunnel?
Never.
It is not, in my opinion. But the president needs to be politely advised. It's now almost 2 years that he's been in the saddle. It's time to think. His presidential chart that he had, he was so cocksure of everything. But that's not reality at all. It's not cocksure. This February will be 2 years since he's been elected. It is time to just reappraise issues. It's hanging in the air. We on the ground, we are not feeling what he's trying to do. It might be well-meaning, but it's not in the right direction at all. So to answer your question, this tax matter will not unite Nigeria.
Never.
If you consider to the north that they get more VAT, for doing what? They've got federal character for 40 years. What have they done with it?
Okay.
They've got quota for 40 years. What have they done with it?
Nothing.
They're just being spoiled. They don't want to wake up to reality that they are not doing well. They are not performing. And when you compromise, you kill the South. The energy is being sucked out of the South in trying to remedy and carry the North along. We should be tired of carrying them along, in all honesty. Somebody has to call their bluff. There's no alternative to the South calling the bluff of the North. Absolutely.
Okay, sir. Now, I'd like to ask you two separate questions. One is about what you said earlier about what is the North doing? Because when it comes to VAT and tax exemptions, a lot of our VAT exempt goods, our foods, our agricultural products, come from the North, and they do not get VAT from that. But so I want to ask why you believe the North is being spoilt in terms of VAT when most of our food and our agricultural produce is coming from the North. The North is our food basket. And the second thing you spoke to was about where is the tax going to? Where are they spending the money on? Because a lot of Nigerians have been harping on about fiscal responsibility, that where is this money going towards? The presidency now has put forward their budget to the National Assembly, and the budget is going to be debated alongside the tax bills in this coming year. Now, the State House headquarters has budgeted 6 billion naira for purchases of new cars, 7 billion naira to build office buildings for the president's own assistants. However, in the same budget, we're only seeing 250 million naira going to learning and teaching aids in the Federal Ministry of Education. So do you think that the budget also that they're trying to get this revenue for, do you think the budget is a useful way of using Nigeria's taxpayer money?
Two questions, fine. The North deliberately chose not to be organized. They are engaged in petty trading. How can you tax a petty trader on the street? How can you tax people who are just in the markets? They refused to organize. They insisted on having a Almajiri system. How can Almajiri pay tax? The governor of Bauchi State confirmed that they have no institutional framework to even tax anybody on VAT. You tax, they refuse to organize even selling of cows. They are not organizing selling of onions. How do you pay VAT on that? They not refuse to organize so that it can be in the modern age where you can have corporate systems to market things. They oppose commodity systems for agri products. So how do you tax something that is not organized? They are diffuse. There is no record. In the markets, in the North, see anywhere. Is there a market? There is no market, no organized market. That's their problem. Then that's it. As to what happened to the tax, I already answered the question. If President Tinubu gets this tax bill through now, to get money for what? Money for what? The civil service is bloated. the president was very proud to say he has 48 ministers and they are doing well. That's profligacy now.
Yes.
Orsay report has been there. We now have almost 1,000 parastatals in the federal government, and they are doing nothing. I live in Abuja. Civil servants are just on the streets trying to say how they can buy a house for 50 million, 100 million.
Yes.
That's what Abuja is. Abuja is for you to just make money and buy houses. Nobody is interested in a proposal to reform the system. Another civil servant, they are not interested in their jobs anymore. And you cannot blame them because the environment is too harsh for a public servant, the way I was in service 24 years ago. So the budget is just a symptom. We are not interested in doing anything serious with the money we are going to get. In any case, over the years, Nigeria is sitting on massive corruption. The president said he will not probe the military because he respects them. That's fair. What happened to the fuel subsidy claim under Jonathan? Have we looked into it? Look, there are so many reports of public stealing. Nigeria Airways Wasota panel report, CMS report, Alibotin report. Even all the things recorded by EFCC, who knows what happened to them? There's a place in Abuja where almost 400 cars just abandoned, EFCC impounded. So there's so much waste in the system.
Yes.
Try to make more money to cover the waste. It's totally misdirected in my own reckoning.
Exactly.
We need to really discuss the fabric of the Nigerian society.
Yes.
We don't need more money at all. The money we already have is enough if applied wisely. To apply wisely. Too many assets are wasting away. And getting more loans and getting more taxes to just pop over the system.
File your taxes 100% free in the app if you didn't use us last year. Just file with TurboTax Do-It-Yourself by February 18th.
Sorry.
It's totally, I don't understand. I don't understand. Honestly, I don't understand.
All right, Dr. Fakunda. It looks to me like a lot of people might consider your submissions a bit concerning. The way that you are addressing issues that have to do with the northern part of the country. When you say that we are different, does it appear to you that it might sound like you are trying to breed division?
Are we not?
Does it appear to you like you are in a way sounding like Kemi Badenoch, the leader of the Conservative Party in the UK, who is of Nigerian parentage and who says that, I've got nothing in common with the North, and that they were even enemies, of where she comes from, which is of the Yoruba stock. Okay. You, of course, will have noticed the backlash that attracted, and people criticize that that's not the spirit that Nigeria is trying to work on. So when you base your argument of regionalization on the fact that we can be together, even though we can be good neighbors, don't you think, sir, that you might make things a bit difficult for somebody like President Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who is Yoruba and who has been accused anyway of trying to Yorubanize the entire machinery of government? And therefore, if you are proposing to him that he should do more of restructuring that regionalizes, wouldn't that appear as anti-North? Anti-North at a time that key Northern elements are saying that no, come 2027, it doesn't look like we'll support you. Aren't you making things a bit difficult for a Yoruba man like yourself, sir, who's the president?
Please listen.
Thank you very much. It's a fact that we are divided.
Okay.
We pretend that it's totally, I don't understand it.
Me too.
The North knows what they want, and the South are reluctant to say what they want. President Tinubu is better to put all the cards on the table, try to pepper over it and say we are united. Of course, we are not united. We are not united. We are divided. That's just the truth. I've told you now. that the North brought federal character. The South agreed to okay, fine, we are united. Where is the result of it?
Okay.
The North brought quota system. Southern agree with it. It's in the constitution. What is the result?
Nothing.
If we now bring in tax to say, okay, get more VAT in the North at the expense of the South, so what will be the result?
Nothing too.
The division will continue until we remove the feeding bottle, let everybody just work according to his own dictates. The North sincerely believes in Sharia.
Yes.
We should not grow them for that purpose now. We should let them be. They want Sharia. In the South, there are Muslims. We don't want Sharia. Somebody brought us in Oyo to do Sharia in Oyo. Everybody put it down.
Yes, now.
The Muslims in the South don't want Sharia. So why are we pretending?
Okay.
In the Southeast, some few Muslims, but they don't want Sharia. Let's accept who we are. Let's accept reality so that we'll not stop talking and motion without movement. That's what it is. I'm not ashamed. Okay, look, if President Tinubu succeeds now, 2027, 2031, every Yoruba person in Abuja will be cleaned out of the system. Because Buhari started with Fulani. He is doing Yoruba now. Let the Igbos come. We cannot grow the Igbos if they put 99% in all positions too.
We want to go.
Is that the way we are building the country?
We are not coming.
Let Yoruba man go and rule Yoruba land. Let the North agree on who will rule Northwest. Let the Kanuri rule Northeast. Let the Igbos rule the Southeast.
Simple.
Let the South agree. Then the temperature will come down. I will not want to be running federal election with 200 million naira form because I have to run from Sokoto to Ikotekpene. I will campaign as a premier of Western region where people know me and I know them. I know what they want.
Yes.
The Southwest want to bring all Yorubas who are Japan, bring them back to Nigeria.
Okay.
Nigeria is too hostile for the Yorubas now. Nigeria is a poisoned environment for Yoruba because we invested in education so much and we have lost all the human beings. They are developing other societies. The North will not care less. How many doctors do they have in United States?
Imagine.
How many doctors do they have in Europe? These are facts and put on the table now. I don't need to sugarcoat anything at all. We are divided. Let's just accept it. It's no fight. It's no war. The North will come up on their own. We will respect each other. But this matter of trying to play some games, President Tinubu is better. In fact, if he runs only one time and he brings this temperature down, his name will go down in history.
Exactly.
But if he does not do anything in the next 6 months about restructuring, and he goes to use all the money to run election in 2027 and he wins, and then what? Yorubas will become endangered in the political system because once he leaves, then Nigeria is not safe for Yoruba again.
Sorry,
let the Igbos come. They have right to come too.
Sorry, because you've spoken about.
Come out.
I'd like to confirm.
Let the Igbos come.
We don't want to come. We want to go.
I wanted to confirm something because you said Yoruba.
So let the Igbos come. And they just have to be allowed to rule too.
No.
And they were entitled to have all Igbos in all positions at that time.
Manage your nonsense. We want to go.
That's what we are going to get if we are going the way we are going now. There's nothing. I don't need to be a prophet to say so.
Okay, I think we're having technical difficulties there, so we're going to go on a quick break and we'll be right back, so do stay with us.
We're going. So my people, please continue to share, like, and subscribe. Listen, please, pay attention.
Well, welcome back to the morning show here on Arise News. We are on with Dr. Fabanda, who is coming to us, joining us from our studio in Abuja. Dr. Fabanda, can you hear me now?
I can hear you loud and clear.
Thank you. Now, right before our break, you said that Yoruba people would be endangered after a Tinubu presidency. I wanted to understand that. And also because you have been speaking about, maybe it's the Igbo's turn or the North turn or the Southwest turn. But Nigeria is a very diverse country that belongs to not only the major tribes, but also, the minorities as well. So do you feel that this regionalism also gives a fair share, an equitable power share to minor tribes, people from smaller tribes like the Efik, the Ibibio, the Bini?
Absolutely, absolutely. In fact, I belong to a new body that is coming up in the next few weeks, Western Region Organization. Look, we need only 3 things to alter the constitution of Nigeria. Alter the constitution to permit regions to have their own subsidiary constitution in the way they like it. Secondly, alter the fundamental list of functions, exclusive list, concurrent list, and residual, and then permit referendum clause. Once you put those 3 things, amendments in the constitution, we will sort ourselves out. 36 states is not viable.
Never.
We might get 12 regions, we might get 16 regions, but regions that are organic, that are willing to work together with common worldview and common culture. That's just the truth of the matter. We cannot continue the way we are now.
No.
Absolutely. Things have to change. And the earlier the change comes about, the better. As I said, there's a body coming up to talk about the Western region as it was in 1963. Other parts that feel they can exist as a region, as a viable, sustainable group. The Gbagis can be a region of their own. Why not? Why not? The Biobios can be a region of their own. Why not? United States, there's California, there's Texas, very big states. There's Rhode Island, there's Delaware. President Biden is from Delaware now. It's a very small, tiny state in the United States. But the rules are defined properly. We need to go back parliamentary system. If we don't reform this and keep going the way we are now, we cannot stop anybody that fights and takes over power to not favor his own people. Because Buhari started it, Tinubu is doing it now, then others must do the same. Then we are sentenced to a life of penury in this country. It is very sad. All right. President Tinubu cannot see what we are saying now.
Dr. Fakponda, very quickly, we really have to go now, but very quickly in few words, I'm just interested in those who are part of this new Western region movement. I know that this has been your consistent position for years. It was the position of Dr. Femi Adegoke, Kemi Badenoch's father, Sunday Igboho, a whole number of eminent Yoruba people. But then there's a Yoruba man as president. So who are those people that will be part of this new bloc that you are talking about? Very quickly, sir.
Oh, we have people. We are forming offices now. We are forming chapters now in the 6 states, and we are indicating for Kwara and for Kogi. In the Western region, we are proposing there will be 8 units, and we already have leaders appointed. We are coming out with this in the next few weeks. We have to push the president now, reform the system, let everybody go and do his own area. They will not be competing. In fact, let him make Abuja presidency to be relevant the way it was when Sardauna said, look, I don't want to come to Lagos. Let Balewa go. That's what we need. In fact, he doesn't need to contest election in 2027 if he has done a good job. In fact, you need to just get a form for 100 naira to run for president. But this one, we are going to spend 200 million to collect form, and you're going to fly over 36 states, rallies, and wasting money. That would be terrible. Let's reform the system that we don't have this expensive campaign that goes to nowhere. But if you invest 1 trillion on election, you must take over the government and ruin the government. That's what it means.
Exactly.
All right. Dr. Fakponda, I want to thank you for joining us on the morning show today. Thanks for your insight. I mean, it's your position, and we appreciate that. Thank you indeed.
Thank you. Thank you, my people. Thank you, our viewers, for being patient with us. We are still going to pull up our PowerPoint, but please, thank you that you paid attention. So we have brought all the problems here and there, people's views, what is this person thinking and everything. Inside this show, we will take you step by step. Remember, we said we have 2 segments. First one, we get people's opinion, and the second segment, we present you, okay, line by line, what Ninas is doing and where we're going with all this going on. So we are watching. Then the final video I want to play is a short one. Nigerians are saying this is 2025. What is the way forward? What is the way forward? Fresh constitutional arrangements. We saw how Famunda was talking about it. This. By the way, when you hear him talking about North, it's not really about the indigenous peoples of Hausa land. Those ones are conquered. It's now they're trying to wake up. The North is Fulani Caliphate. They are the ones holding the Hausas down with our Marjorie system, with a Hawkins system, with a lack of school, like everything backward, because they are a conquered people. Fulani Caliphate, Fulani conquest agenda is holding the northern part of Nigeria down. And that's how they want to hold the southern part too. But we are saying we no agree. We no agree. So we're in the process. So let's listen to Way Forward for Nigeria Today, 2015. You say it's fresh constitutional arrangement. So I'll pull up Olisa Bokova, San. So when they say the truth, we will show them here. When they lie, we'll also tell you. So listen to him, please. All right.
Tinubu needs to put his best foot forward to govern the country. If he does that, in 4 years, he can turn things around. But there are certain critical things he would need to do. The first thing is to say, what's the constitution? If, for instance, me and my wife Lillian don't agree in our marriage of 45 years, then we can't do anything. So the first thing that President Tinubu would need to do is to ensure that Nigerians all agree to be one country. You recall that Bola Ige asked those two questions. Do we want to be one? It's not by force. If we want to be one, how? We haven't answered those questions, which is why I told President Akpabio of the Senate that it has taken 23 years to solve the problem of the Constitution. And I urged him, in conjunction with President Tinubu, to resolve the Nigerian constitutional question now, yes, by inviting the owners of Nigeria. The owners of Nigeria, mark you, were those who owned Nigeria before Lugard brought his amalgamation in 1914. Call them in. These are the people who own the country, and ask them questions. What do you want to see of the Constitution? Because without a Constitution, we're going nowhere. And no one will doubt the fact that the Constitution bequeathed by the military in 1999 is unsatisfactory. You can't build anything out of a weak foundation. The economic development policy of President Tinubu, the political development policy of President Tinubu, and everything else he wants to do rests on a very solid foundation. So let him immediately resolve that. How can we spend 23 years looking for a foundation for building a house? Does that make sense to anybody?
No.
So that's my number one issue. We need to resolve this issue of, do we want to be one? And mark you, the flip side of the question is that we mustn't be one. Exactly. Because Yugoslavia, which was 6 countries under Marshal Tito, when he died, decided to break apart. And today, a lot of them are very strong countries: Macedonia, Croatia, Slovenia, Slovakia. They're all doing well.
Yes.
So there is no sacrosanctity about Nigeria being one country. There's none. I personally would wish for Nigeria to be one country, but we must agree. Now, that is the problem. Because we have not agreed, and because the National Assembly has appropriated to itself the all-knowing wisdom of giving us a constitution, that is the weakness. So that's the starting point.
Dr. Agbakoba, I mean, sometimes when some of these issues are raised, I actually have problems with the decision by activists like you to call for a total discarding of the 1999 Constitution.
Okay. I want to end it there. He has said the one that he needed to say. And that takes us to the introduction, because remember, when we come up with in the show, we have the segment, the first segment where we play different videos. Why we do this way is because we have only Saturday to come to do this. As a result, we'll try to pack everything together. So be patient with us. And during the week, we'll also break the video down so that you can travel, and those that have data issues can watch, so that it will not be too long. So please be patient with us. We understand the situation that you are in, but we just have to make it in such a way that it can work for all of us. So it brings us to this segment, the second segment, where we are now wrapping everything together. All that you have watched in the first segment, we bring everything together and then direct our people on what to go. So we give us the introduction. Of course, the topic is way forward for Nigeria in 2025. Like, is a question. People are saying, what is the way forward for Nigeria in 2025? The answer is fresh constitutional arrangements, fresh constitutional protocol, fresh constitutional order. Anyhow you put it, that is the way forward. Any other thing you're doing is way backward. You're going backward. And we want to repeat what Agbakoba said. We saw it in the video, so we want to repeat it. He says, the owners of Nigeria are those who owned Nigeria before Lugard brought his amalgamation in 1919. You see what we're saying? So it's not this current balkanization of states, Imo State, Anambra State, Imo State, Benue State, Kogi State, all these things that we are balkanizing the indigenous people here and there. It's causing confusion, just like it's causing confusion in the entire Africa. The balkanization of Africa in 1884-85 is why Africa is underdeveloped. So the same system is what they did to Nigeria, balkanizing the peoples, the indigenous peoples trapped in that space. They balkanize them into states, visit them so that they will be ethnic minorities, because they want to conquer them. It's divide and conquer, divide to rule. That's what they did. So if we want to fix it, we must go to where it started, where the problem started. That's before the colonialist Lugard came in 1814 to come and do you. We'll jam you together. And they call it amalgamation. So the owners of Nigeria, those ones, they know their borders, they know their spaces. They are called the indigenous peoples. Igbo land is there. He has not traveled. Yoruba land is there. He didn't travel to Jamaica. Ijaw land is where Ijaw land is. Uroba land is where it is. Hausa land, all the indigenous people, they have their land and they know their lands. No matter all the nonsense that they have done these past 100 years, those things have not changed. So they are the owners of the land. And they are the ones that will make, that the constituent peoples of Nigeria. And are the ones that will make this constitution, not National Assembly. And that means that the first step is to identify who they are. So in the show, we are going to break it down more for you to understand what is being said. Now, according to the Nigeria Chief of Defense Staff, that's the General Christopher Musa, he said Nigeria is waging an asymmetrical warfare against the invaders of our ancestral homes. He said this when they interviewed him, Al Jazeera or whatever they call themselves. They would try to intimidate him with questions. Look for that video, it's there. He was clear in what he was saying. So the hybrid warfare, this hybrid warfare, according to him, requires kinetic and non-kinetic. What it does mean that is an all of the society approach. Everybody, everything we have to throw it against the international terror network, the people invading our land, the people sacking our communities, the people sacking our villages, the people that are displacing indigenous people because they have mineral resources and wealth in their land. Except we win this international warfare, all the economic and political development policies that you people are doing is just a waste of time. It's like somebody starting to build from the roof. So if you are really ready to build, you're going to go to the foundation. That's where you will start. And guess what? At this critical time of our lives that we are here, that people are saying we have to, all hands have to be on deck. Everybody will have to come together and do this thing together. Guess what the religious merchants are doing? The religious merchants in our land, guess what they're doing? Oh my goodness. Once again, they are proving that religion is a major tool for colonial and neo-colonial projects. That's because anytime we're discussing how we will be fine, they will be chasing something else. My people are saying, something. You know, it's like some people are going this way, you are going the other side. They are always doing that. The religious merchants always do that. They don't ever put their mind in what is ailing the people. They don't want to understand. They don't want to be part of it because they are tools. They are agents of colonialism in Africa. That's what they came to do. And all they care to do is to exploit the people and cover their mouth. Make sure they don't talk as they're exploiting them. So what are they doing? What have they done again in this 2025? You know what they are doing. Rather than form alliance with the indigenous peoples against invaders, against the thing that is ailing them, these mega churches and their leaders allegedly are forming a coalition. It says a coalition of Christian association. Against who? Against Nigerian populace. Hey, my God. Nothing Musa no go see forget. Against Nigerian populace. Particularly the youths that they have frustrated out of the country, who are on social media trying to point out their evil, point out what they have been doing. That is what your church people are forming coalition against. Not against terrorism, not against invaders, it's against the people. And then certain Islamic clerics, their own is to plan how to have Sharia courts in Yoruba land, in Southwest, against who? Against the Yoruba people, who are opposing their alliance with terrorist invaders. So if the people, the owners of the land, say, no, this thing people are doing is not good, they will arrest you. Paul and Enche, what's all these pastors? They will come for you. They will arrest you. They will sue you to court. When did you not start using court system? I thought your Bible said if somebody does something to you, you should go and call elders. People should discuss it. Now is police you are using to arrest the people and go to court and do all this. So, like, are you kidding me? What is going on? Anyway, they are confirming what we have already told you people. They are teaming up with the forces weakening Nigerians from inside. That is their own mission. Their mission is not to help you. Their mission is not to free you. Their mission is not to liberate you. Their mission is to make sure that you are brainwashed, you are docile, and you don't ever do anything to free yourself and your children. And that's why today in this talk show, like we told you, this talk show is one-stop channel for all the information you need as an indigenous person who wants to end colonialism, who wants to stop the agents of state capture and neo-colonialism. These people have been invading our ancestral homes for centuries, driving our people out of the land in one way or the other. Some are on economic exile, like Igbo people, everywhere. The problem is the same. So we need to come together to solve this problem. So I'll pull up our video. Our PowerPoint slide, so we can break it down further, explaining to our people what is going on and how we need to solve this problem. Thank you. Continue to share, please. Let people come together and follow what we are doing, what we're saying. Way forward. Like everybody's asking, what do we do? What are we going to do? How are we going to do it? This is 2025. We have been on this thing. What do we do? Fresh constitutional arrangements. That's what is needed. It is not tax reform. It is not any more reform. It is not this. It is not that. This is what it is. This. So we have given us the introduction. Another subtitle is Jubilee for Captives and Victims of Unitary Nigeria. Jubilee for Captives and Victims of Unitary Nigeria. And then fresh constitutional arrangements. Of course, we'll give you an announcement. This video is for educational purpose, like we always say. Please continue to share, like, and subscribe. Winners welcomes the captives and victims of Unitary Nigeria to the year of Jubilee 2025, being the 50th year of Murtala Muhammad Commission of Rotimi Williams / Ben Nwabweze draft of 1975. It is that draft of 1975 that begets that of 1979 and this current 1999 constitution that you have, that will tell you is the source of your problem. So with the delegitimization of the 1999 constitution, freedom is here. This is all you need. We'll continue to break it down for us. Jubilee for captives and victims of Unitary Nigeria. Any Black Christian, even Muslim, traditionalist, if you're a Black person that you say you want to do church, you want to do religion, if you don't understand that the liberation of Africa and Nigeria from colonialism and neo-colonialism is uppermost in God's heart, that means you have not read the Bible well. You are yet to understand this God of heaven. You don't understand God yet. If you think that the God that created this universe will continue to leave us under colonialism, then you don't know God. What do you think, for those that are reading Bible? In Isaiah 9:6, when he said, the government shall be upon his shoulders, he was prophesying about the Messiah that is coming, what he's coming to come and do. He's not just coming to come and liberate you in your mind. Mazi Chukwuemeka Ezeji, he said the only permanent solution to Nigeria problem is disintegration. Apart from this, Nigeria will continue to suffer and remain underdeveloped forever. Bowa Okuchagi, he has said it, but we want to do it in a process. That's why Ninas is here, and that's why we're here, to make our people understand the steps, because we don't want to break down like in Haiti. We don't want it to be like the war in Congo. We don't want all those Sudan nonsense, all those things happening, because once you go into that direction, the enemy that was looking for how to kill your people will come in and begin to dismember your people. We don't want it. That's why we told our people, pay attention. We are going to do it step by step. So we are talking about the religion, because when people talk about religion, it's as if Africans didn't know about God all this while. We want to break it down for our people. We want to break it down for our people, because when you know the truth, they will not cheat you anymore. They will not dupe you anymore. They will not do 419 to you again in the name of religion. That is why we break it down for our people here. He says the government shall be upon his shoulder. Upon whose shoulder? The shoulder of the Messiah that is coming. That is Jesus Christ that they are preaching to you. What does that mean? It's talking about the weight of responsibility and leadership. Dalo, my brother. Dalo. Mazi Ezeji. Dalo Onna. We're talking about responsibility and leadership. It's talking about establishing a just and righteous kingdom, a place where peace and justice will reign. If you don't have it yet, that means you have not received that gospel. That means the one you have is fake. The colonial churches and the colonial mosques are more interested in building their own individual colonial kingdoms, not the kingdom of God. So let nobody deceive you with the kingdom of God. If you are in kingdom of God and you're building kingdom of God, and what is happening is that people are dying and our people are hungry, are dejected, it is not the kingdom of God that you have built. You have built your own kingdom of Ekwensu. We use Ekwensu, it's Satan. I know that our people have issue with using that word Ekwensu because it's a different concept, but I just use it generally as the kingdom of evil people. That's where, so don't let our people not be offended when I use that word. I'm not going to that side, but let me continue on this, talking to our people on how to be liberated from this colonial religion. That is why these colonial monsters and their colonial agents in the religion are interested in keeping and maintaining Nigeria and Africa as a religious and colonial slave camp. Anything you're saying, trying to make our people to understand that God wants them to be liberated from colonialism, they will never be part of it. They will rather take our people in circles. You see, God is not with these mega religious leaders. No, he's not with them. These top religious leaders, whether the one in Muslim, Islam, or Christianity, the version of Christianity that they are preaching in Africa is corrupted. Yes, I said it. It's corrupted. We have practiced it for thousands of years or hundreds of years. The same thing with the Islam. Our people have not been free. So all of them are criminals. No exception. All of them. They are more interested in exploiting the people, in brainwashing the people, and making sure that the people obey the colonial monsters. They are not there to free you or do anything for you. The Islam they practice in Nigeria, how come they are practicing it in Saudi Arabia and Dubai and are having development? But upper part of Nigeria, the northern part of Nigeria is not, the upper part of Nigeria is not developing. That means there is mago-mago in what is going on. And that's where we are bringing our people. Because Jubilee has to start from your mind first. What does Jubilee mean? What does Jubilee mean for Nigerians? It means to free them from bondage, every bondage, political bondage, religious bondage, cultural bondage, anything that is making you not to become who you were created to be is bondage, and it has to go. And that's why I say, see, this 2025, we must be free from every bondage. So you have to begin this journey of freedom from yourself. That's what we call it, self-determination. Onwegi, yourself, free your family, free your community, free your nation. The journey has started and you must be part of it. We must free ourselves from the pain of colonialism, the pain of fake religion, the pain of fake spirituality. It's time to begin to heal yourself. When you heal yourself, then you can heal others. Judge the enemy, don't judge your fellow victims. There are people, our people, some of our people, because of this system that we found ourselves, they are behaving in a way that is not okay. I try to understand, please try to understand that they are victims of this colonial system. Do not judge them. Judge the enemy. Judge the fake religious people. Judge the politicians. Judge those people that are enslaving our people. We want you to bear in mind that this imported colonial religion from Church of Rome, from Arab, they didn't teach Africa prayers or the concept of God, the creator. Our people knew that already. Our ancestors knew about God before they came. They knew about prayer before they came. In Igbo culture, in our side, there's what we call Ego Ofo, where we pray. We don't need to go and gather in the whole big church auditorium before God will hear us. In our Obi, in our family, we talk to our maker and he hears us and answers our prayers. So they did not bring that concept to Africa. We knew it. What they did was to exploit it, to dupe our people with it. Our people thought they meant well. So we need to understand to begin, so that healing will begin. That jubilee we bring, that jubilee that Ninas is talking about, it has to start from you, from inside your home, from your place. Our people knew there were positive forces and negative forces. Our ancestors knew about light and darkness. They knew about good and evil. They knew how to stay away from this and use this. Our people believe that the positive, good, constructive forces are needed to build communities and to build humanity. We knew that. Our ancestors knew that. They also knew that negative, dark, and bad, selfish, self-centered forces will destroy the community and humanity and even the universe. They knew that. The white man did not teach us that. The colonial monsters did not teach us that. The colonial church, colonial mosques, colonial Islam, they didn't teach us that. Africans knew that before they came. So coming to teach our people that if you take offense at somebody that is hurting you, that means you go to hellfire. It's colonial mentality. It's brainwashing. They use it to brainwash Black people into accepting slavery, bondage, and colonialism, and the current neocolonialism that is going on, so that we can accept all these things happening to us as the will of God and the act of God against us. And it's a lie. That's what we're coming here to tell us. It's a lie. Do you mean to tell me that this your God, that these people that have been hurting us, or pretending not to remember that they're hurting us, pretending not to remember they need to apologize and repent and turn around, are you telling us that they're the ones that will go to heaven? What are you preaching? What are you teaching? Does it make sense? My people, the purpose of this neo-colonialism, this neo-colonial religion, is to cause pain and tribulation to our people. That's the only purpose. That's the only thing they came to do in our land. They intentionally created a system of pain and sorrow around our people. So for our people now to want to escape this pain, they will run to colonial church and colonial mosques, where they will be further brainwashed and incapacitated. You see this, their prayer and fasting. Muslims will fast 100 million days. Nigerian Christians, they will start their own fasting every January to February. They're fasting through the week. All this awansi, like people call it awansi, giri, gimmicks. All these things they're doing, endless repetition of empty, unfruitful words, saying they're praying. It is the more you look, the less you see. They are meant to distract you from your reality, to distract you from sitting down and thinking in your head, what is really happening to me? To assess your life and assess your situation. That's why they sent it. And that's why we are calling our people to wake up. Originally, in our culture, prayer, it was not something that you have to go and consult anybody to teach you how to pray. It is you aligning yourself, your inner self, to forces outside you in order to maximize your potentials, in order to get inspirations that will help you to solve human problems. You come in your spirit, then you connect, you begin to hear things. Our people were doing this already. That's how we had that's why civilization started in Africa. That's how we did all the things that we have been doing. They are not new. You see, when your intention is to heal humanity and make the world a better place, you can easily connect to helpful forces that will help you to achieve those dreams. So what are we saying? That real prayer is supposed to calm your spirit and help you align with positive forces. Whether you call it God, whether you call it heavenly powers, anything you call it. I don't want to call it a particular thing so that I do not pull our people in that division. You align with those forces so that you can conquer the evil world system that created pain around you and your people. That's what it was meant to be. It's not supposed to make you to accept evil as good. That is manipulation. That is the colonial religion that we're talking about. Because someone told you, you need to accept this bad as good, so that when you die, you in your suffering, you go to heaven. Hey! That's a lie. Like Ebed Damino will say, it's a lie. That is not the will of God. You see, when you are quiet in your spirit, you have better intuition and you're more spontaneous. It becomes easier for you to hear your spirit, to hear your real self, to hear your super self, to hear your more powerful you, your better you, the one that is unadulterated, the one that is not influenced by the pain around you. And you know what? Anyone can engage in these positive forces, irrespective of your religious beliefs. The one that telling you that you have to 7 steps to hearing from God is a lie. Cain in your Bible, Cain that killed Abel, God was still talking to him before and after. As he was planning to kill his brother Abel, God spoke to him, trying to counsel him and tell him, please don't do this, it's not good. He still went ahead and killed his brother. God did not stop him from killing his brother. That's what I'm telling you. If you're there doing mumu, God is not going to stop colonial master. You are the one that will do the right thing and stop those that are afflicting you with pains. After he still killed his brother, God came to still talk to him. The Almighty, the forces, whatever I call that supreme being, still spoke to him. I like reading Bible because it's a whole record of everything that I need to know. Both good, bad, devil, everything is recorded there. All the strategies, everything, the strategy that the evil people are using, the strategies that good people, everything is recorded there. So I like reading it for myself, and you should be doing the same. Don't allow anybody to deceive you with what is inside there. And then while you're reading, if you see the one that doesn't make sense, no, it's one that the colonial masters added, because the English version, they did some mago. It's quite a little bit different from the original script. Thank God for those that are reading the original script to bring out the real intention. But it's easy to know. If you read it and not move it out of context, you understand the story being that the story is always somebody was in trouble, then forces came and helped you, then you became okay. Happily ever after. All from Old Testament to New Testament. Somebody got into trouble, somebody came and gave the person an idea on how to come out of the trouble, and then there was darkness, light came. There was destruction, creation came. That's what the story is from beginning to end. So it's a good book. So if these forces we are talking about, the positive forces, the forces of building, the forces that construct, you can engage with them irrespective of how you see God, irrespective of the religion that you're practicing. It's just that in some religion, they will teach you how to get there faster, better. But others are more like you have to do so much work before you get yourself prepared to that level. But you see this colonial religion, these colonial religious liars, these colonial rulers called religious leaders, they will lie to you. Why? Because they want to control you. They want to control your spirituality. The intention is so that they can break us into little manageable groups that can easily be manipulated, subjugated, and conquered. That's the whole story. They break in our society to form society, like form class in the society, where some people will see themselves as more religious than others, and then belong to certain cults, certain fraternity that they call church and mosques. That's what they did. So some will say they are knights of some Mulumba. Some will say that this, that we are upper class, you are lower class. It's all about control and conquer. For anyone to be part of the positive force, that you don't need to get permission from anybody. It's a personal thing. In those days, in our ancestors' time, the society was just divided into two: the good and the bad. Good and bad. Two groups. When there is a problem, when there's a challenge in the community, all the people that think positively, all the people that are interested in doing good, we come together. Irrespective of what they are worshiping, how they are worshiping, whatever, they will come together. Then it was easier to identify who was good and who was bad in the community. There was no mix-up. Then prayer was just about worship, thanksgiving, and supplication. It was more of we are praying together. We the people. Because the community had logical procedures to solve problems. They didn't need to pray to ask God how to solve the problem that they know how to solve. You want to cook, you're hungry, you want to put yam on fire, you want to cook it. You don't need to go and do prayer and fasting to know how to cook the food. So in the communities, they had procedures on how problems can be solved. So if anything happens, you just apply the procedure that is there. Our people worked on logic. They were logical, reasonable, but not this fake one that they brought. This one is one that will make you to have faith. When you don't have money, instead of you to go and look for what to do, to work, to sell something, to sell your skill, to make money, you go inside church, sow a seed, and stay there and be doing do prayer and fasting. When you finish, they say that's how money will come. Does that make sense? It doesn't make sense. So then prayer was less of demand of things. Me. Give me a car, give me a house, give me this, give me. That is not prayer. That one is circle of needs, pains, and hurts, which leads to anger against God. Because the thing is that when you now say, give me, if God doesn't give you, you'll be angry. Or maybe when he gave you and you lost the one that he gave you, you'll be angry against God. Then you'll be angry against your fellow human being. You'll be angry against yourself. You'll be angry because the system is not supposed to work that way. That's not what prayer is meant to be. Prayer is not for you to be saying, give me. That's not what prayer is all about. It's all these criminal, colonial, religious people that made you to be thinking that way. Oh, prayer. I have to go and ask God for car. I have to go and ask God. People here, children here, they don't ask God for car. When they need car, they walk, get money, go to car lot, pick the car they want. Even teenagers can afford because the system has been built. That's what we tell our people. We need to build the system so that we can remove our people's mind from this evil that is going on. You see, that level of gimme is a lower level of spirituality. Is a lower level of spirituality, I tell you. This is a type of spirituality or religion that was imported into Africa by the colonial monsters. Therefore, this colonial religion is all about distraction and noise making, like we said. They will keep you awake in the night. You will not sleep. By the time you go to office in the morning, you are sleeping. You are not able to function to achieve the purpose for which you went to work. If you get to your business center where you're selling your market, you are sleeping. Somebody is knocking on the door. Egone, how much are you selling? You are snoring because through the night, you were in night vigil. Even when you're not in night vigil, in the night, you are sleeping, pursuing demons. Oh, witches and cry, witches. My father's wife is chasing me. My uncles are chasing me. My aunts are chasing me. Everybody is chasing you. Who are you chasing? It is the colonial religion that brought all these things into Africa. That's not how we were. Before, we will eat together and be together. But now, everybody is our enemy. and everybody is chasing us and we are chasing everybody. Is a low level of spirituality. That is not real. So it's all about noise making and distraction. And this year again, the year is starting again. The year where you're supposed to sleep to receive inspiration on how to plan your life for your children, they want to engage you now in their stupid prayer and fasting, which is just to call you so that you will come there and give them money. They will collect more tithe and offering to go and build and invest and do and buy private jets and do their business. That's what they're doing. This low level of spirituality has reduced African spirituality. We don't have the goodness we used to have again among ourselves. Now, bad is categorized. It depends, for something to be bad, it depends on who did it. So if the top people did something that we know that is bad, it is good because it's the pastor that did it, or it's the top people that did it. So it's no more bad. If a pastor rapes somebody, it's not bad. It's temptation. It's okay. We can manage it. But if it's a poor person that did it, it's abomination. Just like you have in Sharia law, where they will cut the hand of children that stole bread. But the politicians that are robbing the nation dry, nothing will happen to them. It's not a just system. It was imported. This type of religion was imported for colonialism, to brainwash our head, the head of Black people, of Africans, of Nigerians, so that the colonial project can go very well. If you read your Bible very well, I don't know about Quran, the one I've read is the one I'm telling you. You see that anytime there's a problem, the first thing God does is to restore humanity. If there's darkness, the first thing he does is to conquer the darkness, conquer the evil. And how does he do it? By fixing the mind and spirituality of humans. Those people in trouble, those society, that person in trouble, your mind first needs to heal. You will heal your mind. Then, before he goes to the physical restoration. Because if your mind is fixed, I'm telling you, nobody will cheat you again. Anybody that wants to enslave you, anybody that wants to colonize you, starts from your mind. Your mind is the battleground. When they succeed to colonize your mind, then the physical one is just like this. So in liberating you, in you getting this jubilee that we are talking about, your mind has to be healed. That's colonial mentality, that slavery mentality, it needs to go. You need to liberate yourself first from it, from your mind. Recreation of Africa, recreation of Nigerian minds and spirituality is where this jubilee starts. This is where the jubilee is going to begin. First of all, we need to fix what has damaged. We need to bring our people to higher level of consciousness and operation. In the story of Adam and Eve that you read in the Bible, I told you I like reading the Bible because it's all encompassing. Anything you're looking for is inside it, if you know what you're looking for. Genesis 3:9-24. Adam and Eve, they felt naked, afraid, and vulnerable. Why? Because they were broken in their minds. Somebody told them something negative. Somebody told them what they shouldn't have told them, and then exposed them into partaking in something that broke their mind, and they became naked and afraid. Now, when God came to interact with them, what did he do? The first thing he did was to heal their mindset. He said, who told you that you were naked? Who? Who made you vulnerable? Who exposed you? Who uncovered you? Who weakened you? Who did this to you? You were meant to operate at this level. Who brought you low spiritually? And then he taught them a lifelong lesson of actions and consequences. He introduced the concept of cause and effect. He didn't stop there. Then he went ahead to clothe them physically. That's why we're saying that your jubilee has to start from your mind. We need to begin this journey of delivering captives and victims of spiritual, religious oppression, victims of unitary Nigeria under the 1999 colonial constitution. We need to begin this deliverance from the mind. We need to start by restoring the indigenous peoples of Africa. We must begin by bringing African humans back to a higher level of spirituality. The fake colonial religion brought your spirituality down, and it was intentional. They know that if you are still operating at that high level of spirituality, they cannot conquer you. So the first step they took was to bring you down spiritually by injecting wrong things in your mind, breaking you down, telling you that what you're doing is fake, that they're bringing the real one. Meanwhile, it's not anything real. You have seen what has happened to us after years of practicing that evil that they brought. We got divided. We stopped taking care of ourselves. We stopped minding one another. We broke ourselves. They broke us into little groups that they can manage us. So we must begin to destroy the things that divided and balkanized us into this unhealthy class, these cults, these fraternities, these cliques, these gangs, because it's all different gangs. Gang of Redeem, gang of Roman Catholic, gang of Anglican, gang of Deeper Life, gang. The Muslim will have their own gang. Every gang, fraternity, that's what it is. Me, oh, my own pastor is this. Oh, your own pastor is this. Fighting. It is not about God. So we must have unity of purpose. It's not just about unity, join everybody together. No, it will be unity of purpose. We must have meaningful purpose. What is the purpose? Liberation. Liberating your mind and liberating you physically. They must go together. Anybody telling you that, oh, we will liberate you so that you go and die and go to heaven, but you have to be here in bondage physically, that person is not telling you the truth. Though two of them must go together. Liberate your mind so that you liberate yourself physically. We must begin to take accountability and responsibility of our actions and responsibility for our actions. We can't sit down and blame them. What they did is okay. They have done it. That's the truth. That's our reality. That's the history. I don't mean that it's okay that they did it. I mean, that's the reality. They have done it. Okay. But now we must arise to begin to take action. Take correct action. But for you to take the action, you need to find out first. That's why we come here, to teach us what you need to do so that we can take charge of our spaces. You saw in the fourth video, I think it's the fourth video we played, where people in Yoruba land are already planning how to take charge of their spaces. This thing is not by fighting or kidnapping people or allowing criminals to take over your space. No, that means you're not doing it right. If whatever you're doing is leading to criminals coming into your space to kill people, pour blood, then you're not doing it right. What you're doing is wrong. If you do the right thing, what you see, there will be positivity in your environment. Positive energy will increase. You will see love begin to return. You see humanity will begin to return. So if you get it right, you will see the right result. That is this for this subtopic. We'll go to the next one. Of course, the video is for educational purposes. The next segment is fresh constitutional arrangements. I know that's where people are waiting to hear. But we needed to take care of the physical first. I mean, the mind, to tell you how to heal your mind. Then we'll now go to, because if you don't heal your mind, anything we are explaining to you to do physically, you will not understand it because your mind is not healed. Your mind is still sick. So if we are telling you, you need to take out this thing, you say, But there are this, you won't understand it. That's why we need to break it down for you. Fresh constitutional arrangement. Facts about Nigeria. This is from Nina's. Does it make sense to prepare for 2027 national elections? Or should there instead be transitioning now in 2025 for constitutional reconstruction? Nina's is asking, what makes sense? Is it better for you to just say, you know what, let's just plan this constitutional reconstruction that we'll be talking about for 25 years. Let's do it before we go to other things. That is what makes sense. When Nigerians agree to prepare for 2027 national elections, they are telling the world that they want the life of the imposed fraudulent 1999 constitution, the source of their mysteries, the instrument of the colonizer, and the enabler of the Fulani conquest agenda to be renewed. That's what you're saying. If you want to leave this reconstruction that we are talking about, and you want these politicians, these criminal politicians, these colonial politicians, these colonial religious leaders to drag you into PVC story again. Oh, PVC, hey, you are not, that means you did not understand the lecture. That means you did not understand what we're saying here. But if you understand what we're saying here, you will know that we must stop that journey to that election. Another one, he said the battleground is preparation for 2027 national elections. He said the picture, he said the battleground, the red and the blue. Team colonization. That means those that said Africa must continue to be colonized. Those that are saying Nigeria must continue to be colonized. Who are they? Who are the members of this team? Political parties. They want to sustain and uphold the 1999 Constitution. All candidates for 2027 national elections are willing to renew the life of the 1999 Constitution when the winner swears an oath of office. These are the ones that want to continue colonizing you. They are the ones battling against the team complete decolonization, where I believe you belong. That's where I belong. That we want to completely decolonize Nigeria and Africa and remove all the colonial structures so that our people can be viable, so that our land can be viable, so that our people can progress, so that there will be development. So if you belong to this team, that's Nina's Alliance, all the indigenous peoples organized to decommission the fraudulent 1999 Constitution via the orderly process of time-bound transitioning for constitutional reconstruction. There will be no power vacuum. That's what Ninas is saying, because existing governance structures will remain in place. This thing is so structured. He said, note well, the battleground is preparations for national elections of 2027. Who will win? Who is going to win? Will it be the political class who drag Nigerians to renew the life of the fraudulent 1999 Constitution? Or will it be the Nigerians who terminate the life of the fraudulent 1999 Constitution via transitioning now in 2025 for constitutional reconstruction? This thing is very simple and straightforward. We are talking about fresh constitutional arrangement, how to get there. What is needed? What is needed is to reconstruct the unitary constitutional arrangement back to federal arrangement. But you know what these criminals are proposing? They want to bring Niger Delta Development Commission, Northeastern Development Commission, Northwest Development Commission, Southwest Development Commission. It's just to deceive our people. You made a people give up their rights rights to develop their own place at their own pace with their own resources. You made them to give up that right to a criminal British enterprise called Nigeria, whose mission is to make sure that the people remain colonized, whose mission is to make sure that the people are sent out on economic exile, that the people remain underdeveloped. After you did that, rather than restore the people, you are bringing Niger Delta Development, Northeast Development Commission, to a Northwest, Southwest. How is that going to fix the problem? You see how they have set back the entire Africa and Black nation, because Nigeria is supposed to be giant of Africa, but Nigeria has remained giant shame of Africa. The federal government that ought to just manage the federal office, like our Dr. Femi said in that video. The federal government is just to manage some just office like they do in a true federal system. What are they doing? They micromanage our lives and our destiny. They encroach upon everything that we have to do. They tie us down and incapacitate us and making everybody look stupid. People will say, how is it the Nigerians? They have a lot of doctors, lawyers, professionals, and everything, but they cannot manage their own country because the system is not right. It can't work. That's why when Nigerians leave Nigeria, they do very well. When you put them in a system, in a working system, they flourish and do well. 6 months, they do well. Why are they not doing well in Nigeria? Because Nigeria is a system, a backward system. As currently constituted, you will never do well in it. Union sovereignty dispute. Because we want to say process by process. The sequence of doing something is always important. We tell people, when we say there's a system of doing it. If you listen to the system, it will work for you. It will work for everyone. Number one, the overriding question of union, that is, have we, the diverse ethnic constituent components of Nigeria, that is, the indigenous ethnic nationalities, having sovereignty over their ancestral lands, have we agreed to be in one political union? That question needs to be answered. You saw it in the video that we played, the 5th video by Olisa Abakoba. You must answer that question first. The question of union. Have we agreed to be in one union? Then after that question, then the second question is the structure of the question of the structure of the federation. That is, in what formations have we agreed to relate as one political union? Is it federal or is it unitary? Who are the federating units? How many tiers of government? And what are the power relations between the tiers? We have to sort out this. And then we get to the next one, the question of system of government. That is, whether we prefer presidential or parliamentary system or something else. So you hear people, after they have watched Nina's videos, they come up with ideas, say, we want this one, we want. Stop jumping the gun. Let's take this thing process by process, step by step, so that people will not be hurt. So that we'll have a one and all solution, long-lasting solution, not that we'll start doing this thing again after some years. No. So everybody needs to calm down. Everybody needs to listen. We need to listen to one another and understand ourselves. And that's why we spoke initially about liberating your mind. Because the only thing that is making people not to understand is because their mind, they are sick in their mind. If you're not sick in your mind, if you have not been brainwashed, if the colonial master is not using something to distract you, there's no way these things we are explaining will be confusing you. It's very straightforward. The owners of Nigeria, once again, we will say, are those who owned Nigeria before Lugard colonialist Lugard brought his amalgamation 1914. That's when the Wahala started. Therefore, the only constituent peoples of Nigeria, it is only constituent peoples of Nigeria that can make this new constitutional arrangement we are talking about. It's not National Assembly that will do it. It is not your state governor. It is not all this, because all these people are products of that 1999 unitary constitution that we say we did not make. So this fresh constitutional arrangement, we the people, and we said the people are the original peoples, original indigenous peoples before 1914. They know themselves. They're still there. They have their languages. They have their land. They have everything. They're very distinct. They will go back in that their formations. They will be identified. They will come together in their own, according to their world views. We are not trying to mix water and oil and kerosene and all this nonsense. No, that is combustion you're planning. It's a bomb you're blowing. Each ethnic group, they would know their way of gather themselves together, have charter of relationship, come together, build from grassroots up. That's what everybody's saying. And at the end of that conversation, we're going to have about 3 outputs. You could come out with new federation that is organic. It can be confederation. It can be independent nations. Whatever it is, the people will have to speak, but we have to go through the process. You can't jump the gun. You have to go from A to B. You cannot just jump and start doing anything that comes from your mind. No, that is chaos. And we don't want chaos. Transition now. That's what we're saying. Transition now. What's the essence of transition? So that there won't be chaos. There won't be vacuum. Transition means while these people that are there just managing skeletal tool, because it's time-bound transition. We will now go through this process to get fresh constitutional arrangement. We, the people, will be doing that. And the people, we don't mean people from different states. We mean people of ethnic origin, ethnic nationalities. You know yourselves. You organize yourselves. Then plan with your neighbor, and then all of us. Rinas has already broken us into 3 blocks for arrangement, just for us to arrange. Southwest have already seen the video we played. They say they're organizing this. It's about organization. They're already organizing themselves in Southwest, the Yoruba land. Yoruba people know their land. There's no quarrel in this thing. Ijaw people know their land. Igbo people know their land. You must organize in your original ancestral land. That's why we tell people that are coming up with all sorts of nation, online nation. You are wasting your time because you are encroaching on other people's rights. We don't want that. Go to your own people, organize yourself. Very peaceful. And then we can, as we come from the grassroots, we come on the top. We must do it now. It's what we have to do now so that we can move forward. Otherwise, we will hold ourselves down here, incapacitate ourselves, and we will never develop. Like our brother said, our brother SAG said, that if we don't do that, then we will remain underdeveloped forever. And we don't want that. So thank you so much for staying. It was a long one, but it was important. But we'll break it down for us. Please, sorry that it took so long, but it's just for us to understand what is going on, because we will move very fast. Very soon, this project will move very fast. And if you don't understand, you'll be confused, like, where are they going? Where are we going? Where are we going? Please share this video to everyone. Follow it. If you watch, even if you're cooking, watch, stop, watch again so that you get to the end. I know it's long, but it's so that we'll get all the information. Like we said, during the week, we're going to break them down for us so that you can have each segment and do what you need to do. Thank you, my brother, Sylvester Okonkwo. He says, good job. Thank you. We are grateful to you. Thank you that you stayed and waited. So we'll just give us an announcement of other outlets where we have our enlightenment campaign going on. Like we said, we have spotlight on the wisdom of our ancestors. These are videos and of Daughters of Truth, where we've taught our people, especially Igbo people, about our culture, about tradition, things that our ancestors did that worked for them, things that the colonial masters came and demonized and removed from what were our consciousness, just to make us just lower our spirituality and lower our consciousness and destroy our identity. So we have done all those videos that are there, and when you watch them, please get inspiration and do more research and teach our people more. Those that are from other land, go into your own, find your culture and tradition, things that your ancestors did that worked for them. I'm not talking about some negative. Every society has negative and positive. Look for the positive one and magnify the positive one. Build on it, make it better for the people, because that's where we're going, reclaiming our identity, because we are Africans for a reason. You are Igbo, you are Yoruba, you are Ijo, you own your identity. Then build on it. Then I can relate with you, respect you. It will be mutual respect. It will be mutual love. It will be mutual peace. You see, the world will be a better place. The next one, our sister Ndidi. She does a lot of all these clips from Nina's that we do. She's one that does most of it, so I give credit to her. So she also does Smart African on Spotify, and then Clubhouse. Our sister Ndidi Uwoche. And then Twitter Tuesday, you can tweet Nina's is right. We stand with Nina's. Transition now. Just tweet, because it will make the information to go out faster. Then if you want to learn more, we have our websites, www.ninasvoice.org, and then www.thedaughtersofTruth.org. You get more information. We have our channels, videos and YouTube channels, Facebook. Please just watch them. You will get educated, you will get enlightened, and then you will teach other people. Transition now. We insist on transition now. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. God bless you for staying with us this long time. And if you're seeing this video for the first time, you are welcome. Please subscribe, because when you subscribe, hit the notification button, like, follow. It will help the algorithm to spread the video more to people, and then more people will get the information, and then we'll shorten the time that we need to finish up this complete decolonization of Nigeria and decolonization of Africa and the liberation of the indigenous peoples of Africa. Thank you so much. Thank you. We'll end. Bye. Love you always. Our sister Mona probably will be here next week. So thank you.